The next step on your pillow is to prepare your pillow backing. In order to do this, you were given a piece of solid fabric. It's 14 inches wide and longer than that. I'm not exactly sure the length. I just kind of gave you a scrap that I had. So it's 14 inches wide though, because your pillow is 14 inches wide. What we need to do is get this into two pieces. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna fold this so the two long edges are going together. I should say the two short edges. Okay, so we've kind of folded it in half. Again, we have the long length, and then we're just gonna kind of bring this over and fold it. It doesn't have to be in half, and actually I don't really like it being in half, so I'm gonna do maybe about 2/3. So if you guys can kind of see that as I've folded it, my edge is only going about right here. Just make sure your edges are kind of lined up here so it appears as though it's straight. In order to cut this in half, I like to now go on the crease. So this is the crease, and making sure, again, your edges are straight right here. And remember, I folded it over some, so it's folded over to here. I'm gonna take my scissors, put my hand here, and put my scissors in this crease and kind of gently tug while I cut. This is gonna give me kind of a straight line. Again, gently tug as you cut, kind of working your way. And that allowed me to cut my fabric now into two pieces. All right, so I now have my two pieces. Iron out of the way. All right, what I need to do now is I need to hem. This is where we're gonna do our double turn hem, which is part of your project, your seam sample packet. So we're going to turn. There's no exact measurement. I'm gonna say about 1/2 inch is what you're gonna do. You can measure it or you can kind of eyeball about 1/2 inch. And then you're gonna take your iron and you're gonna kind of just run this along with 1/2 inch turned. Being careful not to burn your fingertips. Okay, so again, I turned that about 1/2 inch and then I pressed it. Now, this is a double turn hem, so we're going to do that again. So kind of turn right on that edge, turn it again, press again. Okay. Now, I'm going to put just a few pins in, just to make sure that as I'm sewing, everything kind of stays in place. So I don't need many, just a few, maybe 3 along here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do the same thing on my other piece. So making sure again I have my 14 inches. Let's see if we can get that in there. 14 inches this way. I'm gonna hem my other piece. So I'm gonna do again about 1/2 inch turn and press. Okay, and then again, so I have the 1/2 inch turn and press, and then I'm going to double hem it. So I'm going to turn again and press again. Okay, I'm going to put just a few pins in again. To hold that in place for me. Okay, at this time I'm going to go ahead and sew along my creased edge. In order to do this, I really want to sew on this edge, not the outer edge. Normally I would sew on this outer edge. I actually want to sew closer to the edge that's kind of pointing to the middle, to that creased edge, not this outer edge. So in order to do that, I'm going to line that creased edge, okay, the inner one, up with the left side of my presser foot. Okay, so the creased edge lined up with the left side of my presser foot, and we're just going to sew forward. I do not need a back stitch on this. We again are using our straight stitch. I'm going to take my other piece and do the same. Again, lining the left edge of my presser foot up with the like inside fold of All right, so you can see that by doing that, I now have a double turned hem, and basically that means there's no raw edges. Now you will see the stitching on this, so it is important to make sure that whenever you've done this that you are okay with the thread color, because you will see that. So I will be seeing that thread color. Our next step then is to take our pillow top, and we are going to place our 2 sewn pieces that we just did, our 2 hemmed pieces, on top of this. Pretty side up. The pretty side of this is the part where you cannot see the turned hem. Okay, so we want that's actually gonna face down. So this curled part will face up. We're just going to line this up. Actually, turn that. Your raw edges, so you have 3 raw edges. Those are what you're going to line up on the raw edges of your pillow. So your turned part, your hemmed part, with that kind of fold like that, that's going to actually be pointing more to the middle of your pillow. All right, and then we're gonna take our other piece, our hemmed piece. Again, the opening, the actual turned hem is going to be up, and then we're going to again match the raw edges to the 3 raw edge sides of the pillow. So we're gonna kind of make like a little sandwich. So again, we've got the 1 piece, 3 raw edges lined up, the wrong side up, so that part that's actually got the hem. We're laying this other piece on top of that. Okay, raw edges together, hemmed piece towards the middle. Okay, at this point what we're going to do is we're going to pin multiple pins around here so that everything kind of stays where it needs to. I'm going to do one more. All right, so at this point we have pins all the way around. So you can see the white backing on one side. Okay, and you'll notice that there's like an opening right here in the center. That's what we want. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to sew around the entire premise of this. Okay, so to do that, we're going to use again a 1/4 inch seam. And you can start anywhere. I'm just going to kind of start here in the middle of the length. I do want to reverse stitch on this one. So we're going to sew forward a few, we're going to reverse a few, and sew forward. Couple things, if you are going to be hitting your pins with your sewing machine needle, you do want to be removing those. Mine were far enough away, didn't have to worry about that. But if you will hit them with your sewing machine needle, please remove the pins as you go. When you get to a corner, what you want to do is sew to about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So my needle is about 1/4 of an inch right now from the edge. I'm going to make sure my needle is in my project. So the needle is all the way in it. I'm going to lift my presser foot and I'm going to pivot. You'll notice I'm turning, but I can't take my project out, so I'm just pivoting. And then once I get it turned, I'm going to lower my pressure foot and continue sewing this straight line. The same thing, get about to 1/4 of an inch, make sure my machine needle is in the project, lift my presser foot, turn, lower my presser foot, and continue to sew. My last, oh nope, I've got one more corner. Okay, we're going to again pivot. I'm at 1/4 inch. I'm going to pivot one last time. And I had already started kind of a little bit further in, so I'm just going to sew until I reach that point. Once I do, I'm going to reverse a few stitches and then come forward. Okay, we're going to release this. Oops. Cut myself loose. We want to trim any of your threads, and then we are going to remove all of our pins. All right, and now we're going to take this and turn it out like you're turning a shirt out inside out. Okay. You can use a pencil eraser to get these points out, or very carefully, make sure your scissors are closed. Carefully, you can use the point of your scissors and kind of put that where the points of your pillow are and gently push your corners out. So again, a pencil eraser works, or you can gently use the point of your scissors. Now, you have to be gentle with this with scissors because you could push so hard that you poke a hole in your corner, and we don't want to do that. You do want to push your corners out pretty good though, so that they have a nice point on them. Okay, I've got one more I need to get out. Okay, I can see I've got a few little loose threads I want to trim. Okay, and so I have turned that, and that's my back of my pillow. This is where we will insert our pillow form later, which will be our next little project we do. But for now, you've got your cover. So that is your completed log cabin pillow. No raw edges showing, everything is completely enclosed.